Hi everybody, welcome back for another video. I want to talk to you today about your projectiles. Everybody wants to have these things shiny and pretty, and there's information out there, and I follow it as well, about lubing these and making them look nice and shiny. And I think in general using something on these is a good idea. And I don't know what's the best thing to use, but I want to warn you today about something that you should not use, and it's because these are now coated with chemicals, and you don't really, unless you know exactly what these are going to go into your mag, and this is really more of an issue if you're shooting HPA. I haven't encountered any problems with CO2. But for HPA, you've got that high pressure air coming in, and let's say 850 psi. Well, if this is coated in chemicals that are on the surface, and you usually don't wipe these off, you sort of let it air dry, and the air dry on there. So it's not like you wash it off. You wash them before you put the chemicals on. You make them shiny. They pass through the barrel very smoothly, and all's good. But I started using this, and I learned this from Chi in Nature on his channel, and he got it from someone else, and people do it and they look at them and the balls look great. It's this Turtle Wax wet and black tire shine. Since I started using this, I immediately noticed something only when I started putting them through my VKS. I would fire, and then I would get a puff of black smoke coming out the end of my barrel, and I would get this burnt rubber smell, and I didn't know what it was. I thought, well, is it my projectile? And I would look in my barrel after I was done, and I would see a lot of residue down through the barrel. And I really didn't know what it was. I thought, well, maybe the Grimburg JULs were somehow not bore matched, and so I went through a lot of bore matching, and you've seen my videos on that. It turns out it's not really bore matching, it's these chemicals that are on the outside. And what happens is, under the high pressure air from your HPA, these chemicals can ignite. And I don't know if this is necessarily at the level of being a hazard. Obviously, the amount of chemicals on the surface here dried on are not great. But I researched about this wet and black tire shine, and there's two chemicals in here. One is isobutane, another is propane. I think all of you know about propane, and you know it's flammable, and you use it for your grill. Isobutane is also a flammable compound. You know about butane lighters. Well, isobutane is just an isomer, meaning that the chemistry has a methyl group that's just in a different location, but it's basically the same compound. It just has some carbon atoms that are in different locations, but the molecular weight of the compound is the same. That's called an isomer. Bottom line, butane and propane and isobutane are flammable. And I believe that the normal PSI for these gases, for these to not become a gas, is to be below 200 PSI. So once you get that pressure higher, they actually can get to a point where they can be flammable. So I can't really tell you any more than that, but I'm saying that if you experience this and you smell that burning rubber smell and you see a puff of smoke, just realize that by igniting this material on your jewels, you could be doing some damage to your marker. I don't know if it's going to affect your rifling in your barrel if you're using a rifle barrel. Most likely not, but it's not something that I really want to experience, so I'm going to stop using that. There's probably plenty of other non-flammable things that you can use. So just something to keep in mind today. There's lots of things that you can use safely, but also consider anything that you put into your marker. Certainly for lubing your internals, make sure you're using things that are silicone based and are not going to be, active ingredients that are going to be going to affect your O-rings. But in this case, something that you don't usually think about. But dieseling is something that people do with not with these round balls, but with where there's a skirt and there's an area to put some flammable substance in. And that's certainly something that people have done on pellet guns. It has positive effects on the FPS, but it also has negative effects on the seals. These are things that are very risky for these launchers, not something that we know a lot about. So best to stay away from any type of flammable material that in any way gets into your marker, even on your projectile. So just something that I thought I would pass along.